Okay, so we're going to change the dash speakers on this 93 YJ. So first thing we need to do is we need to undo the top. So we only have the top part of the top on. You're going to push down on this, which will give you slack in the top on both sides. You'll come over here, and on top of your windshield, on top of your door frame, sorry, it's going to be all these snaps. So you're going to unsnap the top from all 5 snaps. Then you're going to grab the top up here and you're going to pull it away at the corner and get it out. Then you're going to go to the opposite side, do the same thing. Once that is done, I like to push the spreader bars back up just so the rest of the top doesn't come unhooked. Next you're going to push this little tab forward, which will allow you to pull this off. It's hard to do with one hand with the phone. And then you will lay this bar down. Just lay it down out of your way. You need the doors open because it'll hit the door. The next thing you need to do is you need to remove these plastic pieces off the sides of your windshield frame. Sometimes there's like dum-dum up here and stuff that's been put in place for wind noises or water intrusion. So this is held in with 4 Phillips head screws. You want to be careful with this because these are plastic and they do get a little fragile and don't like to be messed with sometimes. So you'll take those off, those 4 screws, and this simply lifts off. We're going to lay it down inside here, out of the way where it can't get damaged, hopefully. Alright, the next thing you're going to do is you have to take off your sun visors. You have to take them off because the sun visor goes over top of right here, and it'll block that. So to take those off, they are T20. So you need a number 20 Torx to take those off. Those are going to be these screws right here. These weird looking little screws. Okay? Once you do that both sides, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take these bolts out that go right here that hold the windshield, these forward roll cage bars to the windshield frame. To undo those, it's going to be a number 40 Torx, a T40. After that, these will both be loose, and you can undo this bolt on each side. We also used a T40 for that, but there may be one that fits better. It seems a little loose in there, but the next size up that I have is too big to go into it. So now, once you've done all of that, you're ready to lay the windshield down. Now, obviously, I have a light bar on my windshield frame, so I cannot just simply lay the windshield down on the stops that are on here, because normally the windshield frame the top of the frame will lay down on these stops. So if you have a light bar or something that's going to prevent it, you need to protect your hood. And that's what I've done here with a cheap moving blanket from Harbor Freight, because it's just to stop that from touching the hood. It's not to protect it from slamming down on the hood. So we're going to take this and we're going to carefully bring it down, and we're going to gently set it on the hood, which is going to sit on the lights on the hood. You can take a block or something, put under there, that way it's not on the lights. So what that's going to end up giving you is access to all of this. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take out all these bolts all the way across the top, and there's 3 on each side, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 across the top. You also need to remove these Phillips head screws that hold the plastic backer for the dash pad. The reason you need to remove those is because they are only screwed into this metal dash, but there's holes in the top of the firewall that these go through, and they will stop you from pulling the dash panel away to access the speakers that are behind it. Something you can also do is undo these two screws here and pull this panel off. I've done this without pulling the panel off. You may want to pull the panel off. You might want to pull all the dash panels off, just to make sure that when you pull this whole dash back and it goes to slide up the steering column here, that you don't break anything. I've done this a couple times, so I'm pretty confident that I can do it again without breaking anything. Let me get you the number for these. These are going to be a T25 Torx. So, and all of these Torx that I'm telling you to take off, break them loose first with a ratchet. Do not just go after them with some type of an impact gun or an impact driver or something. You will snap these bits right off. And then you'll be going to the store to get another bit, and you'll be trying to dig the bit out of these bolts, and it's not fun when that happens. So we're going to pause, I'm going to go along, and I'm going to undo all the bolts, and then we'll come back. Okay, so we have the dash on bolted. Some people will say, well, why the hell are you unbolting the dash? Why can't you get to the speakers? Well, on this passenger side, you can more or less get that speaker out without pulling the dash off, but it's still a pain in the ass because there's studs on the back here, and this one up here it's hard to get to. It can be done. Now when you go around the other side though, you got to go do this speaker, you pretty much can't get to it. I don't know if you can see up in there, but you pretty much can't get to anything. I think you can get one of the bottom nuts off, maybe two if you're lucky. You're definitely not getting these two top ones off. So what we're going to do now is we are going to pull the dash and lift it, and it's going to separate and come away like this. You're probably going to pull that side too.
What are you doing?
Just here, lift a little bit and pull. I guess it's going to be difficult today. So this is also where, if I had taken these off, it would be a lot easier to pull the dash away. So we may go ahead back and do that, but you can see there's the speaker now. So once you pull the dash away, it's easy access to the speaker. And I have three-way speakers in here. One's blown out, I'm replacing it. And I had actually made spacers because the three-way speaker, the center of it was touching the inside of the grill here, even with like little spacers on the studs. So I drew up and printed a complete ring spacer to go on there that slides over the studs. Okay, so I had missed a screw on the top. This is why you have to take all those Phillips heads out. Now it'll slide all the way back. See all those big holes? Those are where those Phillips heads are just going through. And if you leave them on there, you actually have to lift the dash up and off of the firewall, which is a pain in the ass. If you take the screws out, it just slides right out like this. So now there's plenty of room to get behind here to undo these. I'll get the sizes for what these are, because there's a couple different sizes. We're also going to take and unhook the door here, and be careful not to damage it, so that now I got full access to this speaker. And this speaker, you're not going to access it from underneath. I don't care how small your hands are, unless you've got like child hands and arms. You got like a 5-year-old, you can have them reach up in there. Other than that, I don't think you're getting in there. Okay, so here's the speaker out. as you can see, the center of the speaker sticks out farther than the body here. So what I did was I made a 10 millimeter spacer, 10 millimeter thick spacer to go on here, and that lines up with the holes. The outer holes are actually the holes that we need. So this will slide on first. So that slides on the studs first, and then the speaker will slide on there, and then we will put the screws back in and plug it in. We've already soldered the factory adapter on. The sizes that we used to get the nuts off the speaker, depending on what nuts are on there, because sometimes there's these little stamped ones. It won't focus, but there you go. There's these little stamped ones. Other times I don't have them, but it'll be a regular nut, but it'll have a star washer attached to it permanently. So the sizes that we end up using are 11/32 seems to work, or even 3/8, depending on what nuts are actually on there. And if it's not one of those two sizes, it's going to be around those two sizes, depending again on what hardware is actually on there. So basically now it's install this, put the nuts on, plug it in, verify that it's working, and then button up the whole dash again, because the other side we know works. The driver's side, the speaker was defective.